website or on the ESPN Fresno app. Those are the ways to get connected there. You can get connected with his show, my show, the Behind the Bench, and you also have Paul Mender's show, the Central Valley Sports Report, live from First String Sports at 10 a.m. to noon on Saturdays. I believe the last show of the season for him this year before he says goodbye for the winter break. We're here. Another full week of shows for us as we roll along, and a lot to talk about, of course. But we encourage you to be in on the conversation, of course. 559-320-1430. Step out of work. Give us a call. Be a part of the conversation. You got nothing better to do right now. It's December. Come on, folks. 559-320-1430, the way to reach our show. You also have the Lee's Air weather check, which I was kind of alluding to earlier. 52 degrees is the temperature outside right now. It's been hovering around that. I feel like we've been teased in getting into the high 50s, but from then on air, it has been cloudy. We've barely seen the sun. It's trying to peek out from where my vantage point is, but clouds are doing a good job of keeping it at bay. But chilly temps, folks. Just chilly for a while as we roll along here. For the next few days. It's why we play basketball indoors. Basketball season is here. What are we going to talk about on today's show? Of course, we have the weekend reaction. We'll talk college football playoff, what it means in terms of the grand scheme of other conversations, including what can it affect for teams like Fresno State. We'll talk NFL weekend reactions as well, some Rams talk. Of course, they played their big game against Arizona yesterday and looked the way they did, which was the part. And get you previewed tonight, as we say, to Monday Night Football, Chargers and Eagles. We'll talk about that game. Maybe a little bit of fantasy talk. If you Hail Marys you need tonight if you need to get to the playoffs. I believe a lot of people are trying to get to the playoffs via this game. So we will talk about it all here in the next 2 hours, and we're joined by a couple of guys who are ready to break it down with me here. Jorge is here. Tanvir is here. Guys, appreciate you guys being on the show today. And as I always say on these Mondays, I always have one question on my mind. Guys, how was your weekend?
Yeah, the weekend for me was actually surprisingly good. I watched, the World Cup's match schedule reveal on Saturday, which obviously went
a much tighter program, or no?
Slightly, I would say. They did their stalling in there as well. Also got to see a great UFC card. And yeah, the college football conference championships, those were sick. Decent NFL weekend. I think it wasn't the strongest, but still a couple of good games. So overall, yeah, pretty good weekend.
Would you say, Jorge, how was your weekend?
It was good. I enjoyed it. Had some drinks with some friends on Saturday. We watched Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way?
Yeah.
Nice.
Does it hold up?
Kind of, yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
The craze around the rush of getting whatever big hot thing around the the holiday season. And
yeah, I was remembering because I had a long time since I've seen it. Phil Hartman's on it, and every time he talks, he reminds me of Troy McClure from The Simpsons.
That's good. I haven't seen it in a very long time. Funny Arnold and serious actor Arnold are equally entertaining for me in terms of that. But no, it was good to have good that you guys had a good weekend. Of course, I was somewhat relaxed and trying to kind of recover this weekend as the holiday season gets closer. Friday night I went to Asa's show as Strummers with Save Ferris, and for the record, it was a great time. Really enjoyed it. There was an emergency with Asa's girlfriend. She's fine. She just needed to go home. She was not feeling well, and she normally runs the merch table. And so guess who had to step in and run the merch table during Asa's show? Yours truly. We were hucking T-shirts. We were slinging shirts the whole night.
You talked about it, didn't you, on that day?
I talked about it on Saturday's show a little bit. Yeah, I didn't know if I don't know if I talked about being a merch guy.
On Friday, we talked about it, about how we were going to give away shirts.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I ran the merch table. And I would safe to say, I think we did a pretty good job. And Aces Japan, great job by him. We're going to talk to him tomorrow. We'll have him in tomorrow, but great job. On the sports side of things, paid attention to some college football. Did not pay attention to some other college football. I took one look at what was going on in Georgia, Alabama, and I knew I was severely wrong in my prediction. I wanted to be bold. Thought Alabama had a chance. Certainly looked like they didn't. They did not pique my interest at that time, so I did not watch that game. So I did get into the Duke game for some reason. I just found that game fascinating to me.
What a game.
Yeah.
What a game that was.
Yeah. It was it delivered. The ACC delivered, at least in the terms of the drama. Did it make sense that Duke is your ACC champion this year? Probably not, but we'll discuss that a little bit. Outside of that, great Sunday as well. Bad Sunday for my Patriots. Patriots didn't get really the results they needed. Niners, same side, I would imagine. If you were to say you won or lost the bye week, Tim Veer, I think both our teams lost the bye week. If you think about the teams that
I'd say
ended up
tie.
You feel tie?
Because I knew the Packers Bears loser was going to drop below us in the standings, so that was already just a positive out of there. Sure, the Seahawks won, and then also the Rams won, but I felt like those were two games that they should win, even though they were both on the road.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected
it was gravy if one of them lost.
Yeah, right. If both of them lost, and I think if we beat Tennessee this week, this week, then we would have been the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So that's a far-fetched outcome that could maybe come out, but yeah.
I was sitting there just praying for a Raider win, and for a little bit they teased me into the idea of the Raiders keeping it close with the Broncos. Of course, I don't know if you saw the conversation around that Raider-Bronco game and what it turned into in a betting situation where the Raiders backdoor cover and everyone who had the Broncos on the 7.5 money line is just filing grievances left and right today. Yeah, filing grievances. Saying Pete Carroll should be investigated in some form or fashion.
Dave Portnoy being one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly one of them.
That reaction was hilarious, but also crazy.
Yeah. But anyways, there were some fascinating things through the weekend. I went through an entire NFL Sunday, and I watched Red Zone, and I thought I was pretty deliberate in my analysis of what was going on in Red Zone. And yet one thing slipped my gaze of all of the football action. There is allegedly a person named Brady Cook that played quarterback for the New York Jets on Sunday, and I have no idea who he is. I did not know he was playing, and I did not know he threw 30 pass attempts on Sunday. And now I'm fascinated with the idea of who the hell is Brady Cook? Is it a Madden-generated name? Feels very generic. Feels like the love child of Tom Brady and I don't even know. Is there Connor Cook? Is that a name I'm remembering in my head?
That's when you said that. That's who I thought you were talking about. But then I was like, okay, no, this is a different
Connor
person.
Cook, the guy who took over for the broken-legged Derek Carr for the Raiders back in the one Raider season that was as memorable as any. I think it was 2016.
Michigan State legend.
Yeah, Connor Cook, who I think threw for negative yards against the Texans in that playoff game for the Raiders or some horrible fashion. Regardless. Yeah, it was an interesting Sunday to say the least. My Patriots did not get the help they needed, but it is what it is. You win the games that you can control, and so for me that was an interesting part of the weekend. Outside of that, I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying the funeral of the Chiefs right now from Sunday night, which was a fascinating just look into human behavior. In terms of the way the fans were reacting and the way the Chiefs were reacting to that game. Jorge, I got to imagine, were you locked in on the Sunday night just depression of the Kansas City Chiefs? You are a person I would know that is going to run to the grave of the Chiefs and want to dance on it, knowing you.
I don't know if I want to dance on it. No, I was watching it, right? I started watching the first, first quarter.
Yeah.
A little bit of the second quarter, and I was like, "This is not gonna end well for them." So then I started making dinner instead. But I knew what was gonna happen because they had no answer for whatever the Texans was throwing at them.
Yeah,
and usually they respond right away with their own plays and for whatever reason, they were just dropping balls, not making enough yards, getting out when they were supposed to get out. Did not look like the same team that was there like a few years ago or even at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It seemed like the Chiefs, every play that they usually are able to get in games, they just didn't get it in that one, including, the drop Rashee Rice passes. The Travis Kelce tipped interception was insane.
He's had a few of those this year.
Yeah.
Even the way it started with that weird injury.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was not their game.
I was comparing it with my dad. I was watching the game at their house, my parents' house last night. So I was kind of watching the game with my dad, and I was sitting there kind of mentioning to him, and I always bring it back to like my experiences as a Patriots fan. And to me, the vibe of that game, and I know it's not the end of an era for the Chiefs. They will refuel and reload later on in Patrick Mahomes' career. This is just going to happen. But it felt very much like the kind of feeling of that Patriots game in the playoffs when Brady's last game as a Patriot was just kind of a lackluster, kind of go through the motions Patriots offense against the really good Titans defense that was led by Vrabel. And suddenly it was like 13-10 for a while, and you're just like, I think it was 14-13 for like the longest time, and the Patriots just could not get over the hump offensively because it just never felt like they were engaged completely into the football game. I'm not claiming that the Chiefs weren't engaged in that game, but it felt like a 1,000-mile stare from a lot of those players of like, we just don't have answers for what is happening, and our season is slipping through our fingers. And it was a fascinating thing to watch as the fans were starting to turn on every single decision that was being made based off of what was happening. Fans were leaving that stadium with 5 minutes to go, down 7. And you would think Patrick Mahomes, of all guys in the last 8-10 years, he is the most fearful of down 7 with 5 to go that you would imagine as a quarterback. And it's fascinating to see where it's turned into now with him. And now you seem to like not be able to count on this Chiefs team to do something like that. I mean, the Colts game was like the only example this year where I was like, okay, the Chiefs actually kind of figured it out in getting into a late situation. But I don't fear the Chiefs anymore, at least in this iteration. They will retool and revamp, but this year, including last night's game, was fascinating to see just in that perspective that Superman is no longer Superman.
Yeah, and I think this has been compounding for a couple of years now, and the insane victories that they had, especially last year. Like, I'm not trying to be a hater here, but statistically speaking, they were terrible last year, and they still got to the Super Bowl, and they got exposed in that Super Bowl, right? But this has been compounding. They don't have, obviously Rashee Rice is there, and he's a pretty good receiver, but they don't have an answer for losing Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce's getting older. Their offensive line is not playing good like they used to. And the D-line has zero pressure. They're one of the worst teams in terms of pressure rate. And so everything that the Chiefs were good at for the last 4 years, they just simply aren't good enough. And they're going to need – that front office is going to need to retool a little bit better. If we're being serious here, their draft picks have been okay at best, especially the early ones. I still remember when they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the year after they won the Super Bowl, and that didn't turn out well at all. So – there's a lot of issues with this team, and I can still say that Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback, if not, if you're going to be a hater, I guess, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. But he needs help. Let's be serious.
And I mean, the stratosphere we're talking about, where Mahomes, and this goes into the argument of like, I think if you really think about like who is legitimately the best quarterback in the National Football League. If you had to start your franchise with anything, it's not like I'm taking anything away from Mahomes, but it feels like in the same situation the Bills deal with Josh Allen and what he has to overcome. I just simply feel like he has a little more of a ceiling to overcome those issues on his offense when it comes to that. Now, I do believe Josh Allen has one thing that is different from what Mahomes has, which is an elite running back. And that helps a lot. And so if you put James Cook into that Chiefs offense, I would imagine that could unlock a lot of things for Mahomes to be able to do. And maybe we are in a different conversation with what Josh Allen is concerned. But I think it's a very interesting look at where Mahomes goes from here, because I think a lot of people are certainly paying attention to this downfall, quote unquote, or whatever this is. Every great quarterback goes through this in terms of it, I would believe. Even if you want to go comparison to the mid 2000s of what teams went through, like Brady went through a period where his team went 10-6, and I think he was throwing to a number one receiver named like Rashay Caldwell. Like, we're talking that kind of era of Patriots football, and that was like 2009, 2010. Like, they were rekindling a relationship with Deion Branch, who was at 32 as a number one receiver, trying to beat the New York Giants in 2011. Like, it just isn't, But like, the Patriots revamped themselves, drafted a couple tight ends. Gronkowski showed up. Aaron Hernandez obviously was a good player for a couple of years, but you're looking at those kind of things where you hit on certain aspects, and the Chiefs could certainly do that in a couple of drafts here, where you just need one or two, and suddenly you get this second wave of things moving forward for the Chiefs. I know we're not a Chiefs station, but I think a lot of football fans can admit they're out there sitting there thinking and looking at that game, and it not being it is as compelling of a story in the National Football League as anyone, because it's interesting to watch the end of things. And I don't know if it's over, but I certainly know this version of it is pretty much coming to an end.
And I'm not going to sit here and act like the Chiefs can't just flip the script next year and it will be all better, but there's a lot of holes that they need to fix on this team. And I feel like a lot of the issues that were happening were getting masked by a lot of their crazy wins, especially last year.
Yeah. All right. I went too long on that, but I found it interesting, and maybe that's where we go with that conversation, because I really want to go into Fresno State getting a bowl game. We do know where they're playing, and so maybe we do that next year and talk a little college football next. But sports world, man, it's getting interesting. A lot of interesting storylines to say for sure, and we're just getting started here on 1430 ESPN Fresno. Behind the bench, going until 5 o'clock for Monday Night Football, so stay with us. Just getting rolling here on 1430 ESPN.
Want to work somewhere fun, flexible, and rewarding? Me and Ed's is hiring. We're looking to expand our team with full and part-time positions at over 40 locations. Join our growing company as a delivery driver or valued team member today. For more information on job descriptions or to apply, go online at meandeds.com or visit your nearest location. Me and Ed's is hiring. Fill out an application.
Bulldog basketball is back and heating up the Save Mart Center. Don't miss any of the exciting action as both the men's and women's basketball teams take on the Mountain West this season. Make sure to bring the whole family to root for your hometown Bulldogs as they compete for that Mountain West championship Fresno would love to bring home. Tickets start as low as $5 for select games. Grab them at GoBulldogs.com today, and we'll see you at the biggest party in the Valley. Go Dogs!
Are you tired of waiting forever for your prescriptions? Grizzly Pharmacy is here to tame your healthcare needs. We fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less, always accepting new patients, and enjoy free delivery to your home or workplace in Fresno and Clovis. We accept all major insurance, including Medi-Cal, Blue Cross, and Optum Rx. For our Clovis location, please call 559-324-1808 or visit grizzlypharmacy.com for more information.
There's no such thing as an off-season. When the days get shorter and the fields aren't up to par, it's time to train smarter at Elite Performance Center in Clovis. This full-service indoor facility has batting cages, drills, clinics, and one-on-one lessons with elite coaches, former D1 athletes, MLB vets, and even Fresno State softball players. Whether it's a single lane, a private lesson, or the whole 6-cage facility, Elite Performance Center is here for individuals, groups, and teams. Find Elite on Barstow, just east of Clovis Avenue, or online at ElitePerformanceCenterCA.com. Elite Performance Center. Train like the elite.
So winter's officially here, and the last thing you want is your house cold and your furnace sounding like it's auditioning for a beatboxing competition. That's why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is running their $99 furnace tune-up special. It's the perfect time, because nobody wants to see their breath inside the house. And let's be honest, layering 3 jackets indoors isn't festive, it's desperate. So get ahead of the cold. Schedule your $99 furnace tune-up today at leesair.com. That's leesair.com. Happy holidays from your locally owned and operated Lee's Air and Heating. CLN 635-355.
Quick, where can you find a great selection of Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Serta, and Mattress First bedding? Easy. The same place you'll find adjustable beds, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, and more. Sleep Retreat, inside Fashion Furniture. It's the same place you'll find 150 recliners, custom upholstery, leather sectionals, dining furniture, and even office furniture, not including thousands of decorating ideas that you're really gonna love. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
Welcome to A Plus Signs.
Thanks. Yeah, I need some custom exterior signs for my business.
Great. What's the name of your business?
C Plus Signs.
Wait, you own a sign company?
Yep, C Plus Signs.
And you want us, A Plus Signs, to make your signs?
Yeah, I need them really fast, and we can't touch our turnaround times.
We are kind of known for that.
For signs that stop traffic, drive traffic, and even direct traffic, call A Plus Signs.
Remember, A Plus has great technicians to service and repair signs, too.
Yeah, we got a guy, but he's afraid of ladders.
Hustle up, we've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
In Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Ready to roll here on this Monday edition of Behind the Bench. We, of course, got an interesting schedule moving forward. I want to just give some people a little heads up on what's going on. We got tomorrow for 3 hours. Now, Wednesday, we're going to do like a company staff thing. So, Jorge, I think it's fair to say we may not have our show at all on Wednesday. I think it is.
Yeah, it's a mandatory fun meeting. You know, that's what they used to call them back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Mandatory fun meeting. All right.
So it's like our annual Christmas thing.
Yeah. So we will not be available Wednesday. So I think we still have Tony D that day, and we still have FPU Sunbird.
Yeah, we'll have the other shows.
Yeah.
It just takes part of exactly at the time where
exactly
the 3 hour show is.
Yeah, we'll have the Thursday show as well at Fashion. We'll have the Friday show for 2 hours because guess what? We got high school hoops this Friday. Clovis West tournament. We do one of the semifinals. Right now, it's tentatively scheduled for 6:30. However, we're gonna keep it open because if one of the semifinals is a little less relevant than the other, we're gonna go to the more relevant one with the more relevant teams. And so there's a semifinal at 6:30. There's also a semifinal at 8. So we will do whatever one.
Yeah, tell them, Phil.
Yeah.
Tell them that their team is not important.
We're just not doing Bakersfield and like Foothill. I'm just not, you know what I mean? We're going to do Memorial and whoever, like that's just what it is. Like that's just what people are going to get. Right, Jorge? We're like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I got nothing to add either. All right. Hey, guess what? Snoop Dogg going to be real relevant for the next few weeks for the Fresno State Bulldogs. Can we play Snoop Dogg on this program?
No.
Leading up, can we figure it out, or is that one of those?
Well, we'll clean it up and then
clean it up, and we got to get this. We got to get in the Snoop Dogg vibe right now.
AI dubbed Snoop Dogg for a random song is coming to your station.
We got to get in the Snoop Dogg vibe because Fresno State got selected to, and I got to make sure I get this right because. There is a very specific way they want us to say this. The corporate partners, all of that stuff there. They are in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice. I think I got that right. Regardless. Down in Tucson, folks. It's going to be great. Bulldogs are going to be facing Miami of Ohio. Hey, new opponent for the Bulldogs in school history. They've never played. University of Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio, who maybe I would imagine at a passing glance through the television side, you saw them play in that MAC championship against Western Michigan just a couple days ago.
That's where Ben Roethlisberger is from.
Ben Roethlisberger is from the University of Miami of Ohio. Yes. He will not be eligible to play in this bowl game. Although that'd be very funny to watch.
Yeah, tough for them.
tough for
Might
Miami.
still have a year, you know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, we had a presser today, and Coach Entz, he had an opening statement to say about the Arizona Bowl, so here's what he had to say about it.
Super excited to have an opportunity to continue our season. Anytime you're playing football in the month of December, that's a positive for your institution and your football program, and for us to be able to come down to Arizona and get experience your bowl game. Like you said, the Red Wave, the Bulldogs playing in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl just seems fitting. And I know our kids, we haven't really had a big meeting yet, but with our team, but have heard through the grapevine that everyone's looking forward to it. It's something different. It's something new. A lot of people on campus are buzzing about it. Families are buzzing about it. Coaches are buzzing about it. We know we're going to have to play a really good Miami of Ohio football team that was very competitive in their conference championship over the weekend. Look forward to getting back on the grass and getting some practices under our belt. We'll start that here shortly. And in the meantime, just, we're excited to be able to represent the Central Valley, the Green V and the Red Wave as we come down there here in a couple weeks.
I think my favorite quote from that whole side is the Bulldogs seem to be meant to play in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Droop and Stay and Droop. Dre and Snoop. My goodness, this is going to be impossible to say for 3 weeks.
It's Dre and Snoop.
Dre and Snoop. There's so much going on. But
this is Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop.
Nice and fitting to be Bulldogs into the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. By the way, probably our one and only appearance, since we'll be moving to the Pac-12 next year, and this is a non-Pac-12 bowl tie-in, whatever the bowl tie-ins mean. It'll all change every year, all that fun stuff. But it's an interesting matchup, to say the least. I think I'm happy they're playing a conference championship participant that's a higher end MAC team. I think this is good competition. I would imagine Fresno State's favored in this football game, based off of what I've seen from. I don't know if you guys saw the MAC championship. Western Michigan ripped off a couple big 60-yard runs in that game against Miami of Ohio. Guess who does that all the time for Fresno State? I would imagine, and the hope is Speedy Luke is available and ready to go. And I'd imagine the matchup may favor the Bulldogs here if you're going to root for the win. But first of all, guys, your hype. What's the hype level of the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Stu?
I'm hyped. I kind of want to. I was talking about with my roommates about going to Arizona and watching it.
Why not?
I'm going to be having some days off, so.
It's only a 9.5-hour drive from here.
Only 9.5 hours.
Only.
Oh, that's. Actually, that's too.
Do it in shifts, man.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't know. I still got to think about it.
Yeah. What do you think, Tanvir?
Yeah, new bowl game. I like new opponent. I'm kind of hyped for it. I was looking at what Miami of Ohio had and what their story has been over the course of this year, and it's
not quarterback play.
Well, it's pretty wild, yeah.
The quarterback play was one of their quarterbacks walked away, right?
So he transferred for Baylor, and the player that we're talking about is Daquan Finn. He was a former Baylor quarterback, and he was allowed to play for, I believe, his 7th season of college football.
Yeah.
Due to injuries and what. But he foregoed the season in early November to prepare for the NFL draft. So now they're playing with 2 backup quarterbacks, and both of them have played 2 games. So we don't know who's going to start in this one, but it is a wild quarterback situation in Miami of Ohio, and a lot of their fans are really upset at the quarterbacks that forego.
Hey, to each their own with our fan base right now with our quarterback.
Oh, we'll take it.
I mean, we're looking in the mirror with the quarterback situation. Let's be honest. We don't know who the hell we're playing. December 27th.
We're going to play AJ, right?
We're going to play EJ?
Yeah, EJ.
You sure?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to say.
You got inside sources on that?
I can't.
Who do you want to play? We saw.
He was set, but I guess not, right?
I mean, he's got one more game eligibility. I don't know. This is always fascinating to me. If I was a coach, like trying to think of how I would approach a bowl game, right? Because it's like you want to win, you want the trophy, you want to finish with 9 wins. 9 wins is great. Like that's a great season if you're a college football team, right? Especially in a first year. But like you're having to definitely balance the promises you make of like maybe I want to see some guys get some action, help them out, get some tape out there. moving forward in the offseason. Maybe I need to see what they react to in certain situations. You almost feel exhibitionist in a way with this game, but yet you have the desire to win this game, I'd imagine. On top of all of the what Coach Entz has already alluded to, a couple of players already maybe discussing sitting out this game because the transfer window is, of course, different this year. We're not dealing with a roster that could be just 45 guys like we were in the Potato Bowl last year. So I think it's an interesting idea, interesting thought process of how the coach has to go and deal with this in how you balance the way you attack a bowl game like this.
Yeah, and you can do the thing where you're going to play all of the players that you think are going to start next year because obviously they will have an opportunity to transfer right then and there. So I think Matt Entz will probably be thinking we're just going to play whatever we were going to play in the first place. Some of the guys that will have the opportunity to play next year will be in this bowl game. And overall, I don't know if the level of the teams are going to be the same that it was throughout this entire year, but I still think that Fresno State should go into this game with the thought process that they should win.
Yeah. By the way, Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. I don't know if you guys can see it. Already coming out with merch, by the way. A little Fresno State Bulldogs with the Arizona Bowl logo on the front. I don't know if I can see it on the camera. I don't know if we got it there. There you go. That's what's going on there. $50 for a long sleeve shirt with the Arizona Bowl logo.
The most bland design I've ever seen.
I'll tell you what, ticket prices, $26.
Yeah, they're not bad.
To sit like really near the field, like pretty close field level. Folks, you just got to find a way to get there. I was telling you guys, was I telling you guys off air on her? 9.5 hours. 9.5 hour drive.
Yeah, that was like 30 minutes ago.
Was that? I forgot. I'm sorry. I've been looking at the website here.
All good, all good.
Casino del Sol Stadium. There's going to be a pep rally the night before in Tucson, and then there will be a tailgate, a gin and juice tailgate. I saw the VIP tailgate, $90. I don't know if that means meet and greet with Snoop Dogg or anything like that, but you get a meal provided and 3 drink tickets.
I don't think he gets there till the actual game.
Yeah, you don't think so? Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Snoop's got a lot of things to do.
You don't think Snoop is excited for Fresno State versus Miami Red Hawk football?
Hey,
you know what? He was like, oh, Fresno State in the house.
He likes Bulldog. With Snoop Dogg, Bulldog. Like, come on. He's got to be leaning our way, right?
He does. He did say California in the house.
Yeah, he likes
with
Cali.
The Bulldogs.
Yeah, come on. I think the larger, more serious conversation with this is bowl participation, and I think there's a lot to be made about certain other college football programs bowing out for their own reasons in order to not participate in games like these. And I'd asked Coach Entz plainly, what that means to the landscape of what he was talking about with his players, what he's going to approach, how he's going to approach the game, knowing that there's other players out there who are not going to be playing in games like this because their program feels a certain different way. But here's what Coach Entz had to say about that.
It's the only game we have, so it's the only one you can be focused on. I know it's the next one, and for a number of our players on our football team, it might be the last game that they ever get to play in. And so I think, as a program and as a football team, we need to make sure that our seniors continue to have an unbelievable ending to their Bulldog experience, a valued experience. I think we have competitive young men. We have competitive coaches that it doesn't matter if you're playing ping pong or checkers, they're going to want to beat you. And, hopefully that will allow us to get out, have productive practices. I think our young kids will see this as an opportunity to continue to grow and develop and, kind of set myself up for a productive spring. Where am I in the pecking order? Again, understanding what we're doing from a structural standpoint, offense and defensively. So I think there's a lot of positives, and I think our football program sees that.
So interesting comments from Coach Entz for sure. It is a coronation, though, of your season. I think that's where I always sit with the bowl games in terms of it is celebration of your season, no matter what you feel or how cynical you feel about it. The ability to play one more time is, I would say, as good of an honor as anybody in terms of it. There are teams out there that certainly would love to have the opportunity to play again. San Jose State's a team that we just beat that I'm sure feels a certain way of how their season went. And so that's how that's my rose-colored glasses look at the college football postseason in terms of that with the bowl season. I know it's under attack and scrutiny right now at this very moment because of some other programs and the what about what's in it for me-ism of the way this all goes, which is unfortunate. But it's the shrewd nature of looking at it as far as college football is concerned, which has continued to grow into more of a business side of things as opposed to what it was, which was representing amateur athletics in the greater part of this country. But I hope Fresno State adopts that idea of the celebration of their season, because I think this was a really interesting, good season for this team that deserves kudos where kudos has been, for a season that can launch this program into an area that feels like it can get to a special territory if it continues to do what it's been doing. So that's how I see it. I don't know if you guys kind of share the same sentiments with that.
Yeah, I hope we can get back to a point where bowl games are celebrated as, this big marking achievement at the end of the year. I feel like we're getting to a point with a lot of the bigger teams, Notre Dame included, that are thinking that if you're not competing for a national championship game, then there's no reason to even play a bowl game. And I don't know. I just feel like when I grew up in the South, that was everything, regardless of whatever bowl game you were going to, whether it's a Music City Bowl or a Texas
locked in
Bowl.
on the Gasparilla Bowl. I mean,
exactly. And so I think that a lot of these bowl games have lost their luster because of the CFP. And the CFP for one reason or another is still a good product when it's out on the field. But I hope that Fresno State included will start to use these games as a mark at the end of their season, and a lot of their players will still play.
Still a marketing tool for this team too, in this program, right? Like you're still like, you got transfer portal coming up in a month, right?
For sure, yeah.
You, like what you can show on these games can show a lot in terms of what you want out of other prospects who are coming to your program, especially knowing that the transfer portal meant a lot for this team coming in. It's going to mean a lot for them next year. These games matter in terms of marketing your team and marketing your program as one that is viable as an option for another set of athletes who are looking for a home next year.
Yeah, I believe that the bowl games are, kind of a special thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that for some teams, they're not really worth it. I mean, I could see why Notre Dame doesn't want to go to a bowl game. They're going to spend all that money just to go to a bowl game that's not really going to give them anything. I mean, in return, they don't really need to go to a bowl game. They kind of don't. Who are they going to face? And they're probably going to beat the other team.
They were slated to play BYU, by the way. They were slated to play BYU in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
So if they play BYU...
The two teams basically were the last two in of the college football playoff, would have been playing against each other, which I thought would have been a fascinating look at it.
That would have been an interesting game.
But they chose to take their ball and go home and not have that conversation. By the way, I think Notre Dame doesn't deserve the credit for this, because to me, Notre Dame is not allowing you to have the clear-cut ability to look at their team and say, did they actually deserve to be in there if they lost to BYU in a bowl game? Like, you look at that, and now they can forever win the argument of they deserve to always be in that playoff and continue to have the ambiguity of it because they never played the game, as opposed to them playing the game and then everyone looking at, like, look at Florida State when they lost to Georgia, like, by 1 million 2 years ago. Like, if Florida State just said, forget it, we're not doing it, they would forever have that argument to everyone. Like, we went undefeated, and
they still had so many players sit out. And I still feel like that's basically the same thing,
Yeah, but it's basically the same thing, except they went through the motion because the ACC said, "Hey, you're doing this, or we're like taking a lot of money from you and fining you in that way." And Notre Dame doesn't have the obligation because they got no conference to deal with in terms of it, because they're their own entity. Which, by the way, just feels I'm going to say it, feels wrong. Just feels wrong to have that kind of entity in college football. But then again, the NCAA's head is so up there, that they don't want that to change. They don't want to infringe on the rights of colleges in terms of what they want to do, which is just insane to me.
I just feel like for Notre Dame going to a bowl game, it would have been a lose-lose situation. There was nothing to gain from there.
You're in college sports. Play the damn game.
But why? This isn't a regular season game. This isn't, you know.
Then why do they go through the motion of everything else that they have to go through in terms of?
Because there was a chance of you getting to a national championship.
Yeah, but then you lost 2 damn games. Whose fault is that?
I'm not saying it's not.
Don't lose the 2 damn games you lost.
I'm not saying it's not their fault, but I'm just saying that,
that
the situation they're in now, it's a lose-lose situation.
That's your fault. No, that's not anybody's fault. They lost 2 games this year, and we're not good enough. Like, is that not more enough the reason that they don't deserve to be in the playoff? You just look like a loser by not doing the bowl game. You look like a loser.
I agree. I also think that there's no point at the end of the day if you're just not going to play. Like, why would we play a game in the first place?
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be the cap on your season, regardless of if you're going in there or playing or not. But I just think it's just something. The bowl game itself should be something that should be celebrated and not be a thing where we don't really care about it.
It's supposed to be the culmination of the sport. Exhibitions, culminations, and it's got tied into what matters in terms of like what these games result to the point that they're scrutinized. Even these results of these exhibitions, these bowl games, like to the point where it's like infecting the idea of what these bowl games represent instead of the idea of let's celebrate 2 teams that are having a very good season, play an exhibition, and let's have some fun and drink and party and bring our fans together and go to a cool, warm location where they've never been before. That's the bowl game. It's a party.
Yeah, New Mexico, like New Mexico bowl game.
I mean, teams go to New Mexico. You think Miami of Ohio or whoever is in the New Mexico Bowl? I think it's San Diego State and someone really good. I can't remember. I think it's a ranked team. North Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a fascinating game to me. And you get 2 fan bases to come to Albuquerque. They've never been to Albuquerque. It's about the towns that they're in, these warm weather locations, and say, hey, I want to go. It's all marketing.
I understand all that. I get all that. What I'm trying to say is that for this situation, for Notre Dame, there was no win-win here. There was nothing to win for them going to a bowl game.
I think
they've lost 100% because they got the perception of they're losers and they don't want to be a part of this whole thing.
I think there's a stain on this program now.
Absolutely.
That a lot of teams now have been. Vandy's coach or AD came out and just basically disrespected them. But I think this is a issue on a whole different part. I just don't understand why Notre Dame was so upset to the point. Now we can argue about the CFP and why their metrics are wrong in terms of who they pick for the playoff, but I just don't see the why they're so upset.
I'm going to try to put it objectively. If we want to put a poll on this on Twitter, I'm very curious to know what people's result. Does Notre Dame have the right to skip out on their bowl game? I think that is I don't know if there's a justified, I'm trying to think of the way to frame this in a non-objective way is Notre Dame...
But it's not their bowl game. They get invited to it.
Yeah.
It's an invitation. You could reject an invitation.
Well, then what?
I think it's their right to, but I also think it's just dumb.
Yeah.
Let's plain and simple.
It's the precedent, right? And and here's the
They're
problem.
They're not the first one to do it.
Yeah.
There's been many others have done it before.
But you look at the other extenuating circumstances. We're talking 5 and 7 teams who have progressed into their offseason, well into their offseason, and are moving into roster construction that's completely different than what their postseason schedule looked like. To be fair, I get why Iowa State's not playing. Their head coaching staff is gone. They're trying to figure that whole thing out because their coach left for Penn State. I get it. That changes a whole lot. And the same thing with the other programs that are 5 and 7 didn't plan on playing a bowl game, but now they're trying to fill slots and everything. I believe they finally figured it out, by the way, the slots and everything. But I get those situations because those situations are changing the calendar in terms of it. Notre Dame's situation is a whole different one. They said, we're not playing because we don't feel the right to play, because we don't feel like we need to play. And there's nothing in it for us to do that. We're going to keep the ambiguity of us missing the playoff, and we'll forever talk about 2025 as the injustice to Notre Dame, and we'll never, ever have that corrected.
I just don't understand. If there's nothing for you to win, why would you go waste money?
You're not wasting money.
What are you talking about? It takes millions of dollars just to take. They don't have a conference that's going to pay for them to travel to.
Poor Notre Dame that loses how much money? Oh my God! The Notre Dame school that's just scratching by, the private Catholic school in Indiana that's just trying to scratch by on their dollars and cents. Oh no! Poor Notre Dame's going to lose a couple $100,000 million because of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's not what I'm saying, but okay.
I'm just saying. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for Notre Dame at all. That's where I'm at. Let's take a break. We'll wrap up this hour next on 1430 ESPN.
We started like you, a small team with a big dream to serve the Valley. 20 years later, FFB Bank is still proudly backing businesses across California and beyond. We've learned a lot about what it takes to grow, and now we're using that experience to make things easier for you. With our Switch and Save offer, we'll cover up to 90 days of payment processing, provide no-cost equipment, and offer competitive rates so your business can keep more of what it earns. And behind it all is a local team that truly understands your goals and is ready to help you reach them. Make the switch. Save with FFB. Visit ffb.bank to get started. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
At Clausen Honda in Fresno, you're not just getting a car, you're stepping into a full service experience. From the latest new Honda models to certified pre-owned vehicles, a cafe to grab your morning coffee, and a team dedicated to making you feel respected and well served. Whether you're trading in, buying, or scheduling service for your ride, Clausen Honda has you covered with transparent financing, a full service center. Drive in today and see how easy getting behind the wheel can be. Clausen Honda at 6346 North Blackstone Avenue in Fresno.
Basketball is here at Fresno City College. Come cheer on the Rams, both men's and women's teams, two of the top programs in the state, where every game is fast, fierce, and full of heart. Don't miss your chance to see championship-level basketball live at FCC. Want to know where the Rams play next? Or check schedules for other sports? Visit FCCRams.com for full fall and winter athletic schedules. Be part of the tradition. Be part of pride. Fresno City College Athletics, where champions compete and fans bring the energy.
Steel prices are rising everywhere except where it counts. Pacific Steel Supply INC in Fresno still delivers unbeatable value, rain or shine. They'll match or beat any competitor's price by at least 10% on top quality steel, roofing, and components. 24/7 service? Absolutely. When storms hit, Pacific Steel Supply INC keeps your build moving. Get your free quote today at PacificSteelSupplyINC.com. Pacific Steel Supply INC. Premium products delivered on time, every time.
Are you a business owner struggling to understand how cloud technology can help your business? Are you in need of computer and technology support for your employees? M-Cubed Technologies is your solution for fully managed IT services. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. M-Cubed will be your partner in the digital world, allowing your business to carry on worry-free. We specialize in cloud hosting, Microsoft 365 management, general IT support, and VoIP phone services. Call M-Cubed Technologies today to discuss our partnerships.
Football fans, it's Phil Benatti telling you to bring your tailgate and your holiday cooking to Championship Farm with a trip to your local grocery outlet in Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno Southeast, downtown, and Northwest stores. Hurry into these grocery outlets and stock up now on holiday hams and turkeys, fresh produce, baking essentials, party platters, snacks, and drinks. Everything you need for the big game or the big gathering. That's top quality products at deep discount, money-saving prices. Score big this season at Grocery Outlet, Kerman, Sanger, and Fresno Southeast, downtown, and Northwest stores.
When hunger's in the red zone, Toledo's Mexican restaurant has the winning play. Huddle up for their new chicken deals starting at just $14.99. Gandos, chicken mole enchiladas, and Sam's Special. Use promo code ESPN for an extra 10% off, in addition to reward points and discounts. Plus, swing on by Toledo's and catch all your college and NFL action on the big screens. Happy hour, Monday through Friday, 2 to 5. Saturdays and Sundays, 8 to 10, with $10 apps, $7 house margaritas, and $5 drafts. Toledo's Mexican Restaurant.
Welcome to Banyan Tree, Fresno's favorite dispensary. Voted 2025's Best of Central California's People's Choice Award. Need some healing and relaxation? From flower to edibles, concentrate to vapes, we've got top shelf products at down-to-earth prices. Whether you're a seasoned smoker or just kinda curious, our knowledgeable staff will help you find your perfect match. So climb the Banyan Tree and see how high you can get today. Order ahead at BanyanTreeFresno.com for quick and easy pickup. Banyan Tree, rooted in quality, grown in Fresno.
On 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Some fired up discussion. We'll continue it probably a little bit later in the show. Some good college football. We didn't even talk about the playoff and all that stuff, and I think we'll save that for a little bit later in the next hour in terms of it. I just want that on a shirt, what I said last. Notre Dame looks like a loser. Yeah, loser. You're a loser, Notre Dame. You're a loser. That's how we describe it. Hey, injury report brought to you by Davis and Van Wagenen. In terms of some of the big injuries over the weekend, there were not too many to think about in terms of the NFL when it comes to it. I think there was a couple of. I know there was the offensive lineman for Kansas State. I feel like I'm missing one that would happen.
Tight end for Commanders.
Zach Ertz. Yeah. It was a big injury. Jaden Daniels going down. By the way, for Jaden Daniels,
Achilles.
Well, no, it was elbow. His elbow got banged up again.
But then
you're thinking of Daniel
Achilles.
Jones and Daniel Jones with the Achilles injury.
Daniel Jones, yes.
Yeah, that was the big one as well. Boy, I feel sick for the Colts. If I think about that in terms of it, it's just it just does not feel like there's any sort of answer to what they need to do for the next 4 weeks at quarterback position in terms of it. And I said this in the break, and I've said this before the show. I hope they have Derek Carr's number. I don't think Derek will come out of retirement for the Colts, but at 8-5 and with 4 games to go. Although if I'm Derek Carr, I'm not coming out of retirement to play that Seattle defense next week. Maybe I'll wait 1 more week and then I get my shot at Jacksonville.
He's happy doing podcasting right now with his brother.
He said in that podcast, he said in the right situation came along, and there's a chance to win.
There's a chance.
Derek Carr's never had a running back like Jonathan Taylor. Like Pete Kamara, I don't know if Kamara was like at the level of what Jonathan Taylor is.
That's the closest running back, I would say.
But I think Taylor's a step above Kamara, what Kamara was with when Carr was.
Yeah, McFadden when at the beginning.
He had McFadden? I don't think he had McFadden. He did not have McFadden. McFadden left. He was on the Cowboys by the time I think Carr came in. Josh Jacobs,
Yeah, regardless. I think that it would be an interesting prospect for.
I'm trying to think of like does Flacco get jettisoned out of Cincy and
3 different teams?
Yeah, right.
But you can't even trade at this point.
They would have to release him.
You'd have to pick up somebody from the market. I'd like to bring up one injury. Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter is injured tonight for the Eagles game.
It's gonna matter.
And the two games that Jalen Carter has missed this year, week 1 where he got the personal foul or personal penalty, 119 yards, and then against the Giants that 1 week they gave up 172 yards. So,
Maureen Hampton alert. We're looking at.
Yep, possibly.
He's playing tonight. All right. The injury report brought to you by Davis and Van Wagenen. By the way, visit your personal injury law folks over at Davis and Van Wagenen if you're hurt in an accident or at work. All right. Hour 2 coming up next. Who's been outy, who's been nice? We'll talk more college football, all that good stuff next before Monday night. Hour 2 coming up next on 1430 ESPN.
Hey, Fresno State fans. The Fresno Suit Outlet congratulates Coach Jeff Tedford, the newest member of the Fresno State Ring of Honor. We're proud to be part of this and other historic Bulldog moments as the official suit provider and proud to serve our community for over 20 years. Score our unbeatable deal. 3 suits, 3 shirts, 3 ties, 3 belts, 3 pairs of socks, and 3 hankies, all for just $399.99. With on-site tailoring and same-day service, you'll walk out ready to win the day. Visit FresnoSuitOutlet.com. Congrats, Coach Tedford.
When Jeff Thiessen and Lance Duker started Thiessen Duker Modern Wealth Management in 2003, they had a simple mission: to make every life they touch better. They established Thiessen Duker as an independent firm, not tied to the restrictions of one Wall Street company, so their clients could have access to any investment products that were right for them, and Thiessen Duker could serve their clients the way they wanted to be served. They've done other things differently too, from investing in advanced financial planning technology to implementing a team approach with advisors working together to develop client strategies. And from day one, Thiessen Duker has shared its success with local organizations, making a difference in people's lives right here at home. If you need a financial advisor, or if you are a financial advisor and would like to know more about how Thiessen Duker could make your life better, please visit ThiessenDuker.com. The advisors of Thiessen Duker Modern Wealth Management are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
Hey, it's Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench. As the weather cools down and the action heats up in the sports world, that also means that sometimes more slips, hits, and injuries. Just like in sports, when life knocks you down, you need a strong team behind you. That's Davis and Van Wagenen, attorneys at law, right here in Fresno. They've helped Valley families recover and win the compensation they deserve. And you don't pay unless they win. Visit DavisVanWagenenLaw.com. Davis and Van Wagenen, your hometown injury attorneys.
Reindeer on the roof? Jack Frost out front? Fresno Ag has everything to get you holiday ready. Wrangler and Carhartt clothes, gift-worthy grills, even frozen country fair cinnamon rolls. Visit Fresno Ag Hardware in Fresno and Clovis, your one-stop holiday shop. Love a good tailgate? Well, Fresno Ag is giving one away. Enter our Major Wager Tailgate giveaway for your shot at the ultimate game day setup. Visit Fresno Ag Hardware in Fresno and Clovis. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Attention cannabis lovers, your favorite dispensary, Valley Pure, now has an app. Stay connected with exclusive deals, special promotions, and the best products. All at your fingertips. Don't wait. Download the Valley Pure app today on the Apple Store or Google Play. Claim your rewards when you earn them and start saving by downloading and turning on notifications today. Be sure to visit one of 5 Valley Pure locations around the Central Valley. And don't miss out on the best offers. Valley Pure, where quality meets convenience.
Fresno County is filled with talent, but opportunity doesn't always reach every student. The foundation at FCOE is just $100,000 away from reaching our $1 million endowment for excellence. This fund safeguards life-changing programs, from academic decathlon and career expos to arts, leadership, and college readiness, ensuring opportunities for students now and for generations to come. Join us. Every gift builds tomorrow. Visit fcoefoundation.org/raise to 1 million.
On game day, don't just settle for weak snacks. You go big, like a boss. The Butcher Boss brings you the kickoff platter, stacked high with man-sized, fully cooked meats. Tender sliced tri-tip, fall off the bone, pork spare ribs, smoked sausage, fiery jalapeno poppers, already sliced, already prepped. This Sunday, don't just watch the game, own it with a kickoff platter from the Butcher Boss. So call today to pre-order yours. The Butcher Boss, 41 south of Riverstone.
You're listening to the home of the San Francisco Giants, KFIG Fresno, 1430 ESPN.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. The Heisman finalists announced a short time ago. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia, Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love, and Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin. The winner will be announced Saturday in New York. NFL Week 14 caps off with the Eagles and Chargers, Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, ABC and ESPN, with the Eagles offense struggling to find an identity, ranked in the bottom third of the league in total yards per game, passing, rushing, and scoring. Head coach Nick Sirianni more involved in offensive preparations this week. Unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
I think they need to have more creativity around the run game. I would anticipate them running Jalen Hurts a lot more, quarterback design runs. It's that time of year. It's December. But then also, there are just throws in the passing game that Jalen Hurts has got to make. He's got to put it on receivers that are wide open. He's got to see receivers that are wide open.
Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert is active a week after undergoing surgery on his left hand. He's expected to start. He'll wear a padded glove for extra protection. Running back Omarion Hampton active tonight. He's been out since suffering an ankle injury in Week 5. Colts hoping quarterback Riley Leonard, who replaced injured starter Daniel Jones after his season-ending Achilles tear yesterday, can play Sunday against Seattle despite his own knee injury. Rookie Shedeur Sanders will remain the Browns' starting quarterback the final 4 games of the regular season. Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson, slated for core muscle surgery this week, will likely miss the rest of the season. Confirmation from the Commanders that tight end Zach Ertz suffered a season-ending torn ACL, possibly jeopardizing the playing career for the 35-year-old as well.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we'll react to a huge Monday night game for both the Eagles and Chargers. Plus, Adam Schefter joins us at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
He's got the knowledge.
Because once again, I have to come on there and talk about how right I am once again. in anything that it comes to sports.
He's got the questions.
I'm going to lose it. Are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
He's got the guest.
20th head coach in Fresno State history here, Matt. Is it hard to believe sometimes still the 20th head coach here in program history?
It's all moved really quickly here over the course of the last 5-6 weeks. But super excited to be here.
Phil Bonatti is the voice for the Central Valley sports leader. Behind the Bench starts now. Brought to you by Helena Agri.
That's right. Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. The Monday edition, one more hour before we send it to Monday Night Football between the Eagles and the Chargers down in L.A. at SoFi Stadium. Should be a good game between 2 8-4 teams. I want to start off with a little trivia here at the top. We're streaming live on ESPN Fresno. You can find it on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Tanvir, I wonder if you can get this trivia question real quick, because I got a sports thing that happened 13 years ago on this day. Johnny Manziel became the first freshman to win a Heisman Trophy today in 2012, 13 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Can you name me the other two finalists from the Johnny Manziel Heisman winning season? Yeah.
Dude, that was in the prime of my love for college football, so I should get
2012.
Can you tell me the positions at least?
We got, well, one's going to really give it away.
Okay, is like, no, it's not Teo. Is it Teo?
Manti-Teo,
okay.
linebacker.
Manti-Teo.
The other is a quarterback. And I don't know, I'll tell you what, this guy may have feels like it was a battle between Teo and Manziel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And the other guy,
I don't know,
was
Chad Kelly.
Kansas State's Colin Klein.
Ah, yes.
At quarterback.
Colin Klein was a pretty good quarterback back in the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, the NFL career didn't pan out, but
no.
Yeah.
Colin Klein of Kansas State being the other finalist for the Heisman that year.
The urge to give out Arkansas propaganda, but I won't do it.
Who was there in 2012? What are you?
No. Arkansas beat Kansas State in the Cotton Bowl that year.
Oh, they did.
With
Okay.
Colin Klein.
Oh, okay. You guys beat them out. All right. Okay. Who's Bonatti? Who's Benice is the next part of our show here from the weekend, and we do this specifically for the NFL slate. And so, Tanvir, what are we feeling? It's Christmassy season now, so the naughty nice list really poignant at this point. Time of year. So I got three people on each side. Where do we want to go? Where do we want to go first?
We started with the naughty list last week, so this week I think we should also go with the naughty list to start.
Let's just go right to the naughty list one more time. I'm going to go right to I hate to be critical of him, but Kansas City Chiefs coach Andy Reid, specifically in some late decisions here, I'm starting to really kind of question, what Andy Reid decides to do, especially with about 10 minutes to go, the game tied at 10. Chiefs have a fourth and I think it's a 4th and 1. Am I not mistaken? Right, Tanvir?
Yeah, it was a 4th and 1.
4th and 1, and they go for it in their own territory, deep in their own territory. We know the Texans have just not done anything at all on offense this entire second half. The game feels like you could be playing it to a draw at a certain point, but that would be better than kind of losing the game for the Chiefs. But just finding one ability to at least score for the Chiefs and biding your time. But for some reason, Andy Reid just pushes in all his chips on like a 7-3 flop and decides to go for it on 4th and 1 at his own 30 whatever, and do not get it. Texans end up scoring, and I know it's in retrospect you go by what hindsight, but I mean everyone I think in their thought process thought, why are you going for it here on this 4th down call? And the Chiefs did it both times. Both yielded bad results for the Chiefs, and now it seems like Kansas City is out of the playoffs, and their season I think was lost a lot earlier this season than this game, but I think it really put the nail in some decision making that was questionable for Andy Reid.
Yeah, it would be one thing if the Texans were, running away with it and the Chiefs needed to get a touchdown on the drive and you feel it, or maybe you were down 2 scores, but you had tied the game in the third quarter 10-10 And in the fourth quarter, this Chiefs team, interception, turnover on downs, interception, end of game. It was a horrendous fourth quarter, and it wasn't just because of the players. Andy Reid had a lot to do with it, and for a person that has been probably the best coach of the 2020s, I would say, to have the mistakes that he did and being so hyper-aggressive, especially playing against probably the best defense in the NFL. If not, it would be the Broncos. That was a weird decision. So, yeah, I agree with this, Benati.
Do you want to know how weird it is? It was the first time in Andy Reid's head coaching career, Tanvir, that he went for it on fourth down with this situation. The game tied in the fourth quarter or overtime, and from inside his team's own 40-yard line. He's been coaching for 27 years as a coach. The first time he ever decided to do that.
And, for a coach that has he's an old school type coach, and I feel like a lot of the new age guys are usually the ones to do these type of hyper aggressive go for it on fourth down in your own territory. Yeah, it smelled like desperation, but it was just insane that Andy Reid of all people would do that.
We're in the middle of our Benati Benice, but I do have some breaking news. Little breaking news brought to you by Valley Pure. Real quick.
Positive or negative?
Positive. Okay. Real quick. We got our Heisman Trophy finalists for this year.
Yes.
And I'll just name them out here. Fernando Mendoza, Diego Pavia, Jeremiah Love, Julian Sand.
Diego Pavia, that's an interesting one. I'm glad that he got there.
Yeah.
The other three, I think I kind of expected. But yeah, Jacob Rodriguez not being a Heisman finalist is pretty surprising. I know linebacker playing for Texas Tech is not necessarily like the biggest marquee position, but that was that's the surprising.
So there you go. Funny, we were talking the Heisman literally like 5 minutes ago now.
right.
It's almost like I knew, and I should have just waited 5 minutes, but it's fine. All right, let's go to a Benice, and let's go to let's give them their applause. The Jacksonville Jaguars, for at least at the moment, really taking control of this AFC South. They're up a game on the Colts. They're up a game on the Texans. 11 consecutive home wins for the Jaguars over the Indianapolis Colts. And this team is, there's a lot you can't trust with this Jaguars team, but I think there's some things from the defensive side that I can really trust with this group, which continues to frustrate teams. Holding Jonathan Taylor to less than 74 yards in a game like that. In the rain, which feels like a game that a run game could actually get going a little bit better. But the Jaguars playing a complete football game against a team that, I wouldn't say, obviously losing Daniel Jones could demoralize a group, but this Colts team was more than that when it came to what they were doing on both sides of the football. And, give props to the Jaguars who have been able to jump out to some big leads over the last few games and find ways to really just kind of put the game away early. And they have been, I think, sneaky impressive the last couple weeks. And I want to give them their flowers here of doing this to a division opponent that they're very familiar with. And certainly are moving forward to at least clinching a playoff spot, but more often than not there. But I think the Jaguars really cemented themselves as a team that I wouldn't say I would blink at as a one-and-done team in the first round.
Yeah, I felt like this game especially was going to be which team is going to come out on top and really cement themselves. I feel like the loser of this game would have had all the storylines that, they're not for real. They won't be doing anything positive. And I'm not sitting here and saying the Jags are going to make some insane deep playoff run, but it was a good performance. Even when Daniel Jones was in, they were playing really well on the offensive side of the ball especially. I think Travis Etienne is starting to really kick up in terms of his production in the latter half of the season. And so, yeah, this is a big win for the Jags, playing against a decent Colts defense. But, yeah, this is a stretch of time where the Jags have continued to beat the Colts in Jacksonville, and they keep it going. So positive on them.
I have it on good authority. Asa is not buying into this Jaguar team until they beat the Denver Broncos. Especially if they lose to the Jets next week. They shouldn't. But they got the Broncos a couple of weeks, and he's locked in on that. All right, my next Benati. And we're going to go to Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland and whatever the hell that was on that 2-point conversion. Hey, Shedeur Sanders, I know it's Tennessee's defense, and I know it was a snowstorm, and I know it wasn't the greatest weather, but I'll tell you what, there's a couple other guys, they're not, Shedeur Sanders is not the disaster I think people were hoping for or planning on rooting for in terms of that. I thought he looked good in moments. He had clinching drives that certainly put the Browns into positions to, be in a position to potentially tie and then eventually win this football game until Quinshon Judkins forgot to pitch the ball to his teammate, and it was one of the most hilarious two-point conversions I had ever seen in my life. But to put the ball out of the hands of the hot quarterback who, frankly was talking the talk and walking the walk against those Titans defenders, and then the Titan defenders get the last chance to say it even though they didn't stop him. To take it out of his hands in that moment when you know you're dead, like why are you calling that kind of play in that kind of situation? Let the quarterback, let the young guy have that situation to win the football game or at least tie the football game for you and send it to overtime. But I just don't think the right button was pushed there for Cleveland. And let's be honest, Cleveland hasn't been pushing the right buttons for about 20, 25 years. But just another example of just incompetent coaching down the stretch.
Yeah, and mind you, Kevin Stefanski, Coach of the Year winner over the last couple years ago, and I feel like this, a lot of people are saying this is a fireable offense, and how the Browns have been playing, I would not be surprised if Kevin Stefanski is not the Cleveland Browns coach by year's end, and I think that this is a microcosm of what has been happening with the Browns, which is just incompetency in crucial situations. The defense did not play that well in that game. And for Shedeur Sanders to still be able to score, yes, it's the Titans defense, but to stay offensively with a team, which they have not necessarily been able to do this entire year, that was very impressive. And then to take the ball out of his hands in a gadget-type play was asinine. So, I agree with you. This is probably the worst. I think this is worse than what Andy Reid did.
Yeah.
Even though, the Browns are not really playing for anything. But yeah, this is a naughty for sure.
Shedeur Sanders, first Browns player with 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown in a game since 2007. You want to guess the quarterback in 2007 for the Browns?
Bro, I don't. Brady Quinn?
Derek Anderson.
Oh, wow.
What a name to pull there. Derek Anderson. For one of my friends, a Panther great, Derek Anderson. In terms of that Cardinal great, Derek Anderson. I remember when the Niners made him crash out after a football game. Anyways, okay, that's a Benatti. We'll go to my next Benice. And let's go to another snow game in Buffalo with the Bills, who, if you look at this final score and the way it played out, you wouldn't have believed that the Bills were trailing by 10 with about 8.5 to go in that football game. And yet the Bills scored in rapid succession. Josh Allen, just a bowling ball down the field when it comes to the snow game. I fear my life when Josh Allen has a snow game because it looks way harder to tackle him when he's at a full head of steam in terms of that. But ironically enough, the Bengals, who I thought their defense was playing like a decent game until it just all collapsed for them, thanks to a play that you don't typically see Joe Burrow make in a little screener that just did not get floated high enough, and the defensive tackle picks it off and runs it the different direction and then changes the whole complexion of the game as Joe Burrow then threw another pick, and the Bills defense making plays on a Bengals offense that felt like it was impossible to stop, and an avalanche just hitting the Cincinnati Bengals with what the Bills were doing. Buffalo needed that game to at least stay in the conversation of hosting a playoff game in their final year at that stadium. But what a interesting result between both teams, who that game flipping on its head in the fourth quarter like that. I'm not saying Josh Allen's winning MVP this year, but I think there's a little re-entry into the conversation with a game like that from what he did. 251 passing yards, 3 pass touchdowns. I think he ran for a lot of yards too. Yeah, 78 yards rushing as well, also rushing touchdowns. So, Tanvir, he is tied. He has 39 rushing touchdowns. He's tied with since 2023 for most touchdowns rushing in that span.
It's got to be a running back, maybe Derrick Henry,
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Wow.
So
that's wild.
That's a stat for you. But I'm giving the Bills their props for pulling that one out against Cincinnati, because that would have been interesting if they went the other way.
Yeah, I feel like I would rather give this to Josh Allen because I feel like Josh Allen played so exceptionally well. But everybody else around, like I still have question marks about that defense. Yes, we can say we had the 2 INTs at the end of that game, but I feel like that's more of bad plays by Burrow versus a great play by the Bills defense. They still got torched for 300-plus yards. T. Higgins was playing on a concussion out there, but I do believe Josh Allen had one hell of a game. His 40-yard rushing TD is something that I feel like not many quarterbacks can do, and the explosiveness that he has is different. So I would personally give this to Josh Allen and not necessarily the Buffalo Bills, but still that we're just, picking different options of the same team. So
yeah, certainly. All right, let's go to our last Benatti. And I'm going to pick on Gene Steratore from the CBS rules analysis. I'm not going to pick on him mostly. I think it's just more him being like the apologetic guy who tries to explain away the refs' decision-making in terms of it. But we know what happened in Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Isaiah Likely, who appeared to catch a football in the end zone with 2 steps and control, ends up losing it before the 3rd step in the end zone. Joey Porter Jr. knocked it out from there. But it's interesting to argue the idea of him having to make a football move in an end zone where a plane will need to be broken for you to be counted towards the touchdown. And yet, he explained in some form or fashion that this is not a touchdown because it's in the field of play. While also, in the same area, you have to have 2 feet down and you can fall out of bounds and call that a touchdown. And the play is dead that way. So I think there's a little bit of confusion to me. And I think a lot of fans on what actually is a touchdown in the end zone. If I am a coach, I am instructing every player who catches it elsewhere around, like away from the border of the end zone, to just immediately fall down. Like immediately catch it and fall down. And then you'll consider it a completed catch, right, in the end zone. But what happened, I think the Ravens have a legit gripe on how the result of that game ended up, and they end up losing it because that touchdown was taken off the board. I don't know if Pittsburgh was going to be able to drive the offense that way. So I could safe to say that what the refs did in Baltimore was a travesty to the Ravens.
Yeah, some of these, referee analysts on whether it's, Monday night, Thursday night, or any of these Sunday games, a little bit of an apologist for the referees, but they've been in their shoes and they kind of understand what they're going through. But, yeah, that was a weird one for sure, especially the explanation of how he said it. But, yeah, other than that, it just a funny moment in terms of how the explanation happened in a very serious moment of the game.
Yeah. Let's go to my last. We're on my last Benatti or Benice. We're on my last Benice, and I'm giving the kudos to a rookie quarterback from Sunday, Tyler Shough, and the Saints getting it done in Tampa and putting the Buccaneers in a situation that, frankly, I don't know if anyone would have believed 2 months ago that the Buccaneers would be in 2-5 in the last 7 games. But the Saints, they're fighting, man. They're making it happen in terms of that's concerned. And there were a couple runs yesterday for Tyler Shough that I feel like he almost got decapitated on as he was heading to the end zone, and yet he was able to find the pylon and make it happen. The kid's a gamer. I'm enjoying it. I think he's better than some rookie quarterbacks we've seen so far this year. And I would safe to say that I like the gamer-ish notion of what Tyler Shough has been this season for the Saints. Saints are not a team that you just can say you can. I mean, you as a Niner fan, you saw the Saints earlier this year. That was a Spencer Rattler version of it. My team faced the Saints. I wouldn't say that was the easiest game for both of our teams when it came facing New Orleans, and we knew this game was going to be in that tricky territory for Tampa. We didn't know it was going to end up in a loss, but I'm shouting out the rookie quarterback because I just love his tenacity and the way he was able to attack the end zone on his feet.
Yeah, in a season that hasn't really been filled with a lot of great moments for the New Orleans Saints, this is certainly probably their best moment of the year. Tyler Shough, he's been ridiculed, especially even by New Orleans Saints fans, because they're upset that he was taken ahead of a guy like Shedeur Sanders. But when you have moments like this, and I think the touchdown to take the lead is the best moment that the Saints have had all year against a division opponent, nonetheless, on the road. And, yeah, I think whatever doubts we had about the Buccaneers going into this game came true. And I think Tyler Shough having the performance that he did, I mean, not necessarily having the gaudy passing numbers, 13 for 20, 144, and an INT, but being able to have 2 touchdowns on the ground on 55 rush yards. I think he had a pretty good performance for a Saints team that hasn't really had that many this year.
And that is the Who's Been Naughty, Who's Been Nice of the NFL weekend. I have one more breaking news to get to you here.
Oh, my goodness.
You're not going to believe this Adam Schefter tweet I'm about to read that came out about 10 minutes ago.
All right.
With Daniel Jones out for the year and Riley Leonard week to week with a strained knee ligament, the Colts are going to work out Phillip Rivers on Tuesday. As the NFL Network has reported, it is Phillip Rivers' birthday today. He turned 44, and he last played in the NFL in 2020. He is working out for the Colts.
I cannot believe that. That is insane.
Phillip Rivers.
So Anthony Richardson, I imagine,
his orbital bone injury is still.
It's probably worse than I imagined. I thought he would probably be back by the end of the year, but no. And Riley Leonard still out. Or not out, but injured with that knee injury, so he's questionable. That is insane to me.
Phillip Rivers is
not just it's Phillip Rivers, but that would be the choice of all the quarterbacks that ever. That's crazy.
He is a grandfather
to 11 kids. He has
he's
11,
a father, and he's
I still remember the graphic between him and Burrow, and it was they had kids at the bottom, and it's 11-0.
I want nothing more in my life than to see Phillip Rivers play football again at age 44.
Oh, my gosh. Imagine the Monday night game. Phillip Rivers against the Niners. Oh, my goodness.
Cinema.
Cinema indeed.
All right. Oh, I'm licking my chops. Let's take a break. We'll come back next with more Sports Talk on 1430 ESPN.
Here's a tip from All American Glass, Fresno's go-to since 1990.
Hey, this is Isaac with All American Glass, wishing all you listeners a very happy holiday season. I'm here to remind you that we're available for all your auto glass needs. We've been trusted in the Central Valley for over 30 years as the leading professionals in repair, replacement, and recalibration. Come in today for a free quote and mention this ad for a $25 discount on your next windshield replacement. And remember, we treat your car like family.
Get a free quote today at aagfresno.com.
It's cold outside. And a good thing, Donald P. Dick has 5-year free financing on a new Lennox system. That's 0% financing and up to 30% energy savings. This isn't a system that costs. It pays. Get 54 years of experience, 12 People's Choice Awards, and Lennox, the best-selling system in the Valley. Affordable, high-quality Lennox. And 5 years of free financing from Donald P. Dick. Call 255-1644.
At Helena Agri-Enterprises, we're committed to helping you make the best agronomic decisions for your farm. That's why we combine cutting-edge technology with superior product. Helena's agri-intelligence solutions use in-depth analysis to identify potential problems in the field before they take root. Combined with a complete line of high-quality crop production and crop protection inputs, Helena has the tools to help you increase productivity, enhance performance, and maximize your return on investment. Contact your local Helena representative or authorized dealer to create the right plan for your farm with Helena Products and Agri-Intelligence Solutions.
Hey Bulldog fans, Lynn's Restaurant Group, a proud partner of Fresno State Athletics, has launched a brand new app. With over 8 locations like J-Pot, Ramen Hayashi, and Hino Oishi, the app brings all your favorites together in one place. Order ahead, skip the wait, and earn rewards every time you dine. Whether it's game night or family night, the app has you covered. New members even score $5 in LRG credit just for signing up. Download the Lynn's Restaurant Group app today and start earning with every visit. Go Dogs!
Bulldog basketball is back and heating up the Save Mart Center. Don't miss any of the exciting action as both the men's and women's basketball teams take on the Mountain West this season. Make sure to bring the whole family to root for your hometown Bulldogs as they compete for that Mountain West championship Fresno would love to bring home. Tickets start as low as $5 for select games. Grab them at GoBulldogs.com today, and we'll see you at the biggest party in the Valley. Go Dogs!
Fall is here, and it's time to get moving at Valley Athletics. Phil Bonatti from Behind the Bench telling you about new programs coming up. Starting soon, you can sign up for monthly memberships for K through 8th graders working on volleyball, basketball, and strength and agility. It's as little as $15 per class. Speaking of sign-ups, the great facilities there are always available for rentals, including birthday parties. So take advantage of that today, especially as we get to those colder months. You can find all the sign-up information on their website, valleyathletics.co. Valley Athletics, developing the athlete in everyone.
Get ready for the ultimate Monday Night Showdown, only at Chakchansi Gold. Starting September 8th through December 29th, win your share of $80,000 in giveaways, including $51,000 in e-cash. Earn entries all day Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Then join us for drawings every Monday from 5 to 8 p.m. Swipe your rewards card during the game inside Firehouse Lounge for a free entry into over $28,000 in prizes, including football gear and more. Game day starts here at Chakchansi Gold.
In 2011, 3 siblings went on an 8-day, 15-state AK-47 wielding crime spree. Introducing the Doherty Gang podcast.
Armed, dangerous, and all in the same family.
This manhunt has been going on for more than a week.
Each episode tells the true story of one family's cross-country criminal rampage.
My sister's a crazy one, my brother's the muscle, and the youngest is the brain.
Listen to the Doherty Gang. That's DOUGHERTY Gang, wherever you get your podcasts.
Behind the Bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno, the Valley's local sports leader. Hour number 2 as we get closer to Monday Night Football. We do have our poll up for you folks from a discussion earlier today on our ESPN Twitter. You go to at 1430 ESPN. Tanvir, do you believe it was the right decision by Notre Dame to forego their bowl game? And we have the 2 answers there. Yes, there was no upside, and no, they are losers.
I'm on the no, they are losers fence.
Yeah.
I think that is it okay for them to do it? I guess it's legally correct, right? Like, you can do it, but I just feel like what they sound like they are just upset about what happened. And I don't think that they should be as upset as they are, but that's not for me to decide. That's for them. But yeah, it's a bit much.
Well, let's dissect why they maybe should be upset, and if they have any justification for that, which is we did have the college football playoff come out yesterday morning before all the NFL action happened, and you watched the show like I probably watched the show, which was in real time and dissecting what was going on as the seeds are coming in. The first real, it wasn't as like egregious, but somewhat a little surprising to see Ole Miss ahead of A&M. I think that was the first reveal where I was like, all right, because I've been advocating, just me personally, I've been advocating about the Ole Miss argument of like, should they even be considered in this situation because of this coaching situation? Is that even right? I can equally say it's not right, but also they should litigate it that way if they litigated other situations beforehand. So that was the first kind of real interesting discussion. Then Alabama stays at 9. And so you sat there and were probably like, all right, well, Miami and Notre Dame either are going to come up next year. BYU losing was enough for them to drop down as a 2-loss team. And then, Tanvir, your reaction to seeing Miami pop up as a 10 seed as opposed to Notre Dame was what?
I think it was the right decision from the start. I think that when you look at both of the teams' resumes, you have similar resumes, very close to each other. And you were also afforded the opportunity to play against each other. And regardless of what we want to say, because a lot of people will be like, it was just week 1. Week 1 is still part of this 2025 season. And Notre Dame lost to Miami in that game. And so I think Miami should have been ahead of Notre Dame from the beginning. That is an argument where I can agree, where if we talk about the committee's just insistence of leaving Miami below Notre Dame until the last second, then I can agree with you that was the incorrect way to do it. But the actual decision itself, I have no mind for it.
Well, now we're 2 years in a row 2 years in a row where the committee has put themselves in a corner where they have to explain themselves when they make the final decisions, of having to go through what their process has been throughout the season, which feels like it's been different each time, week by week, from the beginning. And I look at the SMU situation last year, and I said this last year on my show when the SMU decision came and they became the last team in as opposed to Alabama. It was because the committee grossly outranked SMU up ahead, maybe injusticely so for Alabama, but because the committee ranked them so high, they could not just drop them as far as they could drop them because of what they had in terms of how they lost that ACC championship. But that's on the committee and what they did earlier in the results of the polls and whatever they did with the ranking that indicated that they thought SMU was a higher ranked team as opposed to what the public opinion was of that. Now, in this situation, they always have consistently had Notre Dame ahead of Miami, but that's because they felt like Notre Dame and Miami weren't exactly next to each other all this season because they put BYU in between it. And is that the correct decision the committee could have came with throughout the whole year? Probably not, considering what they probably thought of BYU, regardless of, losing that Big 12 game. They were probably waiting to see if that was the result. And frankly, they probably should have just ranked BYU below Miami all this time. And then as the chair of the committee said on the show yesterday, then once Notre Dame and Miami were next to each other, we looked at the head-to-head and vaulted Miami ahead of them. And I asked the question of, why go through the dog and pony show of having BYU in between those guys at all, and instead just put Miami ahead of both of those guys if that was going to be the qualifier by the end of it? Because clearly they knew they wanted to drop BYU in some form or fashion. I just don't know why we went through the charade of giving BYU this little hope, this little sliver of hope, being in between Notre Dame and Miami this whole time when we knew it wasn't going to matter because they lost to a number 4 ranked Texas Tech team in their Big 12 championship.
It's all just ridiculous in my opinion. I think that let's just look at what Notre Dame and Miami did throughout the year. I think the reason why Notre Dame ended up passing Miami by year's end was because Miami's 2 losses were in the middle of the season, while both of Notre Dame's losses were at the start of the year. And then if you look at the strength of schedule for Miami after those 2 weeks, they did not play a elite team after the Texas A&M game. They played Purdue, they went to Arkansas and won, Boise State, NC State. They played a decent USC team, Boston College, Navy, a decent Pitt team, Syracuse, Stanford. That is the 10 wins for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And I think because of the timing and also the AP poll being a template for the first CFP ranks, I think this all turns into a situation where multiple parties have issues with each other, and you can never have the perfect bracket. So there's no way where a expansion or a change in the CFP format is going to make people more happy with what the outcome from every year is going to be.
And look at where they're attacking. And a lot of the heads were attacking the 2 bottom teams, which are teams that make automatic bids because they were the 2 best of the rest of the conference champions. That's where they attacked it. But I say with a playoff system, you look at it in other sports, there's arbitrary regional tie-ins that make teams be in the playoffs as opposed to teams that aren't. The prime example of this is in the National Football League for all of those different divisions. How many people didn't want the 7-9 Seattle Seahawks in that playoffs in 2010 against the defending Super Bowl champs New Orleans Saints, and they thought it was such a travesty that the Saints had to go to Seattle of all places and play that team. And then, of course, even to them losing that game, they felt the blame of the playoff system because New Orleans should have never been in that situation to play at Seattle regardless. But I look at it in terms of that, and I simply just beg the question of, I think there was a great point made from Greg McElroy, of all people, in this whole discussion in terms of talking about if we're tying in conference champions, it needs to be unilateral in terms of how the conference championships are handled.
Agreed.
And the NCAA does not have that, does not feel they need that authority to do so.
Neither do they have the authority currently.
And it becomes the Wild West when it comes to who makes the conference championships as opposed to others. The Mountain West, as we know, when we've been breaking it down all year and whether Fresno State had a chance to make it, comes down to a computer model that nobody knows about, you know? And it's only because of that, because they feel like it's calculated into who has the best chance to make a college football playoff because of that computer model, as opposed to, are we getting the two best teams in that Mountain West championship? Computer arbitrary, you can look at it and say, yeah, New Mexico, San Diego State were probably, in my opinion, the two best teams in the Mountain West. If you look at all the other conferences, you know, Indiana, Ohio State, two best teams in the Big Ten. No argument there, right, Tanvir? SEC, were Georgia and Bama the two best teams in the SEC?
By the rankings, no.
No. Georgia was, and
Ole Miss, A&M, and Oklahoma were all
in
ahead
my
of Bama.
humble opinion, A&M deserved to be in that championship game. In my humble opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Texas Tech, BYU, two best teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, can we be just call a spade a spade? The College Football Committee is supposed to make a decision and make it a fact. It's on them to make a decision based off of stuff that's not in their control.
Yeah.
You're trying to create a controlled environment out of a situation that's not controlled because of the conferences having such different ways to decide a conference champion. So, and that's the difference between the NFL and the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL, it is cut and dry, and they have the authority. The front office has the authority on who plays in what division.
Here are the playoff parameters.
Yeah.
Here are the divisions. Here's who wins these divisions.
And it's not like we have a situation where teams are changing divisions to try and get a better chance. Like, imagine if the Rams were like, or actually, let's say the Seahawks. They can't win their division in the NFC West. So, you know what? We're going to go to the NFC South. There's no variables in the NFL that have this type of scenario happen to them.
Yeah.
And that's why college football, while I do think a lot of this is overblown, and I think that a lot of the issues supposedly that are plaguing college football are not as bad as people say they are, and I think also like people are just using this to talk about it, I also think that the NCAA needs to either stay out of this entire thing and the conferences create something, or we have an overarching body that takes care of everything like this.
Yeah.
Like I believe in other sports, right? And you know, we just make a decision based off of what the committee thinks. So it's all off in my opinion.
But it gives the crux of the argument that a lot of talking pundits are saying is where the blame lies isn't necessarily the committee omitting Notre Dame because they thought Miami was better. It's the blame is being put on James Madison and Tulane for some reason.
Yeah.
For being conference champions. And that, to me, feels wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong because if you had an issue with the system and how the college football playoff was built, then this should have been something that was brought to the attention beforehand. And maybe it was. I know the SEC has been lobbying for a certain amount of teams in the playoff, and the Big Ten is probably doing the same thing. But this is what the playoff is, and there's no two ways around it until you change it. So whatever happens in the season is going to happen. And I don't understand why in week 14 we are now discussing that the college football playoff is incorrect when at the start of the season, if you just pick the 12 best teams and the 5 best conference champions, nobody would have an issue with it.
We're not even in year 2 of this playoff, too. We're not even in year 2.
And would you say this is better than the 14 playoff?
I enjoy it.
I enjoy it too. But I also like having 4 New Year's Six Bowls and just 4 teams 4 teams competing.
I am a big sample size person.
Exactly. And I think we should see this out, see what the 12-team playoff provides, and maybe, you know, you try different things.
But because it's so like everybody needs to fight for their nut, basically, when it comes to like what they want out of the money and who gets the most deserving, whatever, who deserves to be most, out there as far as being a national brand and who gets the exposure and all of that interesting, whatever stuff that's tied to it. It's all a big marketing thing when it comes to that, if you really want to look at it. But, like I go back to the NFL. The NFL had a playoff system from 2002 to about 2020, I want to say 2019, where it was
the 6-team system.
Yeah, 6 teams in each conference. We looked at it and we thought, well, maybe that 7th team does deserve to make it. And there's been 7 seeds that end up winning a game or two. Like Green Bay a couple years ago.
Yes, exactly. There's been a precedent set that 7 seeds have the ability to beat a 2 seed.
But how many? Yeah.
But that's where the blame is being put on teams like James Madison and Tulane, because there hasn't been a 12 seed or an 11 seed that has beaten a 5 or a 4 or made a deep run. So until that happens, people are going to want to not have these conference champions in there.
And the patience is afforded in the National Football League because it's 32 equivalent teams would have equal say on the collective bargaining on the side of the thing. And we are doing this with how many teams? 140, whatever.
Yep.
But let's be honest, 30 of them probably have the best say in terms of that as well. And it's not equal.
If a person came out and said, I think Duke is better than JMU, and I think Duke deserves to be in there, I would not bat an eye in terms of saying, okay, this is something that a person could say. And that is wild to me that a Duke team could have an argument to be in there at 7 or 8-5 as the ACC champ.
Yeah. I'm excited about the playoff. And I think they did have the field right.
Yes.
Under the parameters.
No. Under the parameters. This is the exact correct field. A lot of people are like, oh, Alabama shouldn't be in it. No. Alabama has wins against Georgia, has wins against Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Missouri, and they got to a conference championship game, and I'm not going to punish them for losing that championship game because the other 2 teams that they were against were not even playing in a championship game.
Can I give you playoff championship odds?
All right, let's hear it.
You want to go through?
I've calmed down after my yelling over the last couple minutes.
Who do you think has the best odds
to win the whole championship?
To win the national,
I'd imagine Ohio State or Georgia.
Ohio State at plus 240.
Okay, yep.
And then it's Indiana at plus 250.
Okay, I thought they would just hose Indiana in terms of the odds, but okay.
Georgia's at 6-1.
Okay.
Oregon's at plus 750.
Interesting. So they have Oregon ahead of Tech.
Tech's at 8-1. Here's my best buy: A&M at 18-1.
That's a good buy in my opinion as well.
Very interesting to me. Bama at 25-1. Ole Miss at 25-1. Miami at 25-1. Same odds as Bama and Ole Miss, despite where they are. Oklahoma 55-1. Nobody believes in that team apparently.
Great drop off.
And then hey, James Madison 600-1 for ya. Tulane 800-1 for ya. Good luck. But I'd throw $1 to Tulane.
Do it.
Hey, one could dream. I wonder what their odds are for their game against Ole Miss. I wouldn't bat an eye if they beat them. In terms of that, these games are going to be fascinating. And by the way, 1430 ESPN, the home of the college football playoff and the national championship, your Central Valley sports leader. Got to get the plug in. All right, let's wrap up the show. Let's do a little look at tonight's matchup. Eagles-Chargers coming up in just a little bit. So let's preview that and get you to Monday Night Football next on 1430 ESPN.
There's only one. West Coast? West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. Hey folks, Steve Johnson here from West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. For over 20 years, my crew and I have been keeping rides running rides. From cars and trucks to side-by-sides, ready to roll into the season. Whether you need a tune-up, oil change, or full custom build, bring it to the crew that loves what we do. Get your rig ready for fall and winter adventures with a $100 suspension inspection. Only at West Coast Exhaust and Off-Road. Check out our 5-star Google reviews and swing by in Fresno, just west of Shaw and Brawley, or online at westcoastexhaustandoffroad.com.
Steel prices are rising everywhere except where it counts. Pacific Steel Supply INC in Fresno still delivers unbeatable value, rain or shine. They'll match or beat any competitor's price by at least 10% on top quality steel, roofing, and components. 24/7 service? Absolutely. When storms hit, Pacific Steel Supply INC keeps your build moving. Get your free quote today at PacificSteelSupplyINC.com. Pacific Steel Supply INC. Premium products delivered on time, every time.
Introducing The Sidebar, a brand new open-air beer garden at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill in River Park. Experience a new way to catch the game, hang with friends, and enjoy new appetizers, char-grilled burgers, salads, wings with over 10 house-made sauces, and of course, world-famous Me and Ed's Pizza. Thirsty? Try our self-poured taps with over a dozen craft beers, wines, ciders, and craft seltzers. Plus a full bar with an impressive selection of tequilas, whiskeys, and craft cocktails. The Sidebar at Me and Ed's Coney Island Grill, now open in River Park.
Are you tired of waiting forever for your prescriptions? Grizzly Pharmacy is here to tame your healthcare needs. We fill most prescriptions in 15 minutes or less, always accepting new patients, and enjoy free delivery to your home or workplace in Fresno and Clovis. We accept all major insurance, including Medi-Cal, Blue Cross, and Optum Rx. For our Fresno location, please call 559-424-0423 or visit grizzlypharmacy.com for more information.
Quick, where can you find a great selection of Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Serta, and Mattress First bedding? Easy. The same place you'll find adjustable beds, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, and more. Sleep Retreat, inside fashion furniture. It's the same place you'll find 150 recliners, custom upholstery, leather sectionals, dining furniture, and even office furniture, not including thousands of decorating ideas that you're really gonna love. Fashion Furniture on El Paso, across from River Park. There's nothing like it in all of California.
For over 60 years, we at DeBudo Defendus Insurance, a multi-generational and family-owned company, have proudly provided high-quality risk management and insurance solutions to local businesses. We stand on a tradition of solving insurance pain points in a wide range of industries like agriculture, construction, hospitality, transportation, and many others. A partnership and personal touch is what you can expect from us at DeBudo Defendus Insurance. Visit DIBU.com and get the business insurance you need today.
License number 0E02096.
Citrus season is here, and once again, growers are choosing orange over blue because Kubota means less downtime, easier controls, and better value through the long harvest stretch. When you're racing weather, labor, and time, uptime matters, and Kubota delivers. So, turn to Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, for the tractors and service they depend on. With Fresno and Reedley locations, Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, is ready for you this season. Visit Pioneer Equipment, your authorized Kubota dealer, today. Online at pioneerequipmentca.com.
Hustle up, we've got 8 more floors to go before lunch.
Sarusha's window washing business is reaching new heights.
Wipe, and let's roll.
They need more certified cleaners to keep online reviews crystal clear.
Team, I know we're hustling, but watch for streaks. Candace, can you give me a hand over here?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Behind the bench here on 1430 ESPN Fresno. Reminder tonight, Chargers, Eagles, Monday Night Football, 5 o'clock kickoff coming up next, or at least pregame kickoff at 5:15. Daily Spread brought to you by Chichancy Gold Resort and Casino. You're not trying your luck with your teams, try your luck with Chichancy Gold Resort and Casino. Today, Philadelphia, 1.5-point favorites on the road at LA, the Chargers. And we mentioned a couple of injury potential guys out. One of them, Jalen Carter, is in that situation. Justin Herbert with that left hand situation, broken hand. He had surgery earlier this week on it. And seems to be ready to roll. Marion Hampton is going to be back in the running back position and active today. So if I am thinking about this matchup and the way this game could go, I think there's a slight Eagles could be in trouble defensively if the Chargers do get a good, solid run game moving into what, Justin Herbert is good at in terms of play action, deep pass, all that stuff with it. I'd be concerned about Philadelphia's lulls on offense tonight in that situation. It could be one of two situations, though, because the Eagles do show up offensively in spurts from time to time. And I do think that game against Chicago certainly was an alarming one in terms of the way their ability to move the football. It felt very vanilla on the offensive side. There's not much innovation. And I've said this a little bit. I do think Saquon Barkley has a little bit to blame in terms of his inability to break tackles and do the things he was doing last year that got Philadelphia to a Super Bowl. And I wonder what the viability of what Philadelphia's offense is going to look like tonight. Like I said before, Philadelphia's horrible in stopping the run last week against Chicago. with the Chargers getting a plus player in Hampton back. To me, I feel like picking the Chargers tonight. I don't know if I can go quite there just though, because I just don't know what to expect on the offensive side completely. They weren't like blowing the doors out of the Raiders last week in terms of it. The Chargers have been just kind of, I would say, the quietest 8-4 team out there in terms of it so far this year. I really could flip a coin in tonight's game between these two teams. So I don't know. Tanvir, what's your feel before we go prediction time?
Yeah, I think that the Los Angeles Chargers running game could really affect the Eagles, especially without Jalen Carter. I said earlier in this broadcast, the Eagles, in the 2 games that they've played without Jalen Carter, they've let up around 117 and 170-plus rushing yards. And when you have a team that establishes the run as much as the Chargers do, I think that could definitely affect them. But I think the Chargers are also a team that, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Not having their 2 tackles could affect them in this game. I think this is going to be one of those weird, like, low-scoring, middle of the road games. And I think that if the Eagles need or want to get this win, they're going to need something out of Saquon Barkley. He hasn't scored a rushing TD in the last 4 games, and he hasn't been a great effect, as you said. But I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say the Eagles win this game. I think they'll get a little bit more out of their offense.
You want to hear an alarming stat for the Eagles offense this season? 41% of their offensive drives have resulted in 3 and outs. 0 first downs this season.
Yeah.
Only the Raiders, the Steelers, and the Titans have been worse offensively.
And that's a aspect of why this offense hasn't been going at all. Kevin Patullo is a little bit too predictable, I would say, in his play calling on the offensive side of the ball, and the execution in clutch moments for Jalen Hurts and company has not been that great either. So it's kind of just affecting on both sides.
Well, it's the reason the ball control hasn't been there with Saquon Barkley running effectively in that situation. But also, I just don't know if they've really been – they need to get to – their weapons are there. Like, we have A.J. Brown there. We have, Devonta Smith there. And to be fair, Dallas Goedert, who's been a little quiet these last couple weeks too, I think has been a direct effect of why they've been losing a couple of these games is because they haven't been going to Goddard as much. I wonder if the middle of the field can be a little more presentable for the Eagles passing attack today against this Chargers defense.
Yeah, they can really hurt these linebackers. Deion Henley and Denzel Perryman not playing at the best of their abilities this season, and I think Devontae Smith being that guy that catches a lot of deep middle of the field balls can really affect him, but the safeties are still playing good.
Of course, everyone tonight has fantasy Hail Marys tonight as well in terms of it. I have Jalen Hurts and Goddard. I'm good, though. I'm in the playoffs, so I don't need any Hail Marys tonight in terms of it. Tanvir, you got any fantasy Hail Marys tonight, or you pretty much set in what you got moving forward?
Yeah, I'm set in what I got. I think to give the people a fantasy outlook, I think that if you start Kamani Vidal, I think he can still do something for you. Yes, Amari Hampton is coming back, but I think that these guys will split the ball carrier, split the carries. And I think that you could see Vidal be the goal line back because they don't want to really re-injure that injury for Amari Hampton. So I think Vidal is still a decent play today.
Big game for the Chargers, too, to keep pace with the Broncos. They need the Broncos to slip up in a couple of these games here, and you could have the Chargers in a conversation with, I think, Week 18 they play each other in Denver, potentially for the division here. I'm not counting the Chargers out in terms of the division fight there as well. So
yeah, not counting them out, and the Broncos play the Packers, Jags, and Chiefs.
There's room for the Chargers here down the stretch, so I think there's some curious moments here moving down the stretch. I'm going to go Chargers. You said you're going to go Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going to go Eagles by a touchdown.
We'll see how it all plays out. All right, Tanvir. Great spirited discussions today on our show. Appreciate it as always.
Appreciate you too.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Monday Night Football, Eagles, Chargers.